Hello, I am Stephanie Joy, the attorney at All Things Social Security and Joy Disability Law. Your video is about to start. I just wanted to remind you that if you click the join button below, you can learn more about the memberships offered at a very affordable price that can give you a little more direct attorney answers to your questions. Have a great day and enjoy the video. Guys, just wanted to review something with you that I just had to review with a client. If you get the opportunity to see your consultative examination report, and generally this would be a mental CE report, but not necessarily, perhaps, but usually this is what we see. We don't usually see it. It actually usually is the opposite, but occasionally we see it. So if the mental health examiner answers in response to, I think, something they're supposed to answer as per SSA question to them to include in their report, their opinion, their findings, is whether the claimant that they examined, in their opinion, could handle their finances should they prevail and get disability benefits. Usually the answer is yes. And one might say, well, isn't that bad for the disability case? Sometimes, but not necessarily. But what if you see it says no? I don't think, or I think she may have trouble handling her benefits, or it could say, I think a psychological evaluation should be had to determine if she can handle her own benefits should she prevail. Okay, so that might make some people very uncomfortable because as impaired as they might be with concentration or depression or anxiety or anything like that, you know, they certainly feel like they can handle paying their mortgage. Maybe they do it through the banking system or through the, you know, they have an online system. A lot, I mean, probably most people do that now, right? So it's automatically taken right out of the bank account. If that happens, it might be where the SSA just makes a unilateral decision to require a representative payee for that position. Or I have seen where the person is literally asked to come into the field office. And in this case, I allow it. So they can give them the uncredentialed eyeball. It's funny because they're not psychiatrists, psychologists, or even therapists in there. They're just regular everyday people that have a job as the clerk or the staffer in the field office, and they are, I guess, allowed to give an overall and make a judgment call. So if that is the way they do it for anyone, you know, obviously you want to go in there and, you know, act semi-cogent. They may ask you questions or whatever. Certainly if you say, I've been doing it all this time, I just do it slower. I don't do it on my high pain days. I have it all, you know, scheduled accordingly. I know what I'm doing. You know, I've been doing it for 40 years or 20 years. So there are ways to explain that you can do it. And of course, you know, you get more bees with honey. So, you know, don't be rude or anything, even though you might want to smack them upside the head. Other times, if they insist or they say we need a doctor note or something like that, you can get a letter from your doctor. I think even your primary, opining that, you know, she has disabling conditions. However, paying her bills does not seem to be one of them. He could even say, we have no outstanding bills from her. She's always paid here on time. And I have no reason to believe she can't continue to do that, despite, you know, some impairments. So that's just something you can do. Most people don't need a representative payee, but in this case, there was a suggestion that the person have a psychological evaluation, which I don't know that they're going to, I think the SSA doesn't want to pay for a psychological evaluation at their expense. So that's why they have people walk into the field office. So anyway, that's kind of what goes on if that happens. I mean, the report was favorable. I mean, it was good. So if the SSA were to believe their own consultative examination report, which they sometimes do not, if it doesn't fit the agenda, then this client would prevail. So we will see what they do. And if she does prevail, they probably do have to do something because that is in there. You understand? Like the professional has said, and if you look at the report, it's understandable based on the other findings. So I thoroughly understand it, but it is concerning, and the client, would be, rightfully concerned if the client feels that they certainly can do their bills. They've been doing them this whole time. There's mental slowdowns, limitations, but they would be the type that might prevent being a rocket scientist, not paying your bills. And that's the point you want to drive home. Might not be able to do your prior work, which was high skills, but yes, I can do the basic work of paying my bills, particularly with all the aids that every layperson in the world uses now. Most of us are not writing checks and, I hate to say it, balancing registers the same way we used to. So anywho, just wanted to share that in case you see one of those. I know you guys don't actually see the CE reports unless you have a representative who shares it to you. I do share mine. The only reason I would not share one is if the SSA specifically has a stamp on it or a letter on top that says do not share this. And that's usually for some far off psychological damage they perceive may occur to the claimant by seeing it. I've actually never had one of those cases, and I've had severely mentally ill SMI people. So that is a very rare thing, I think, when they say that. Anywho, I will chat with you later. Bye, guys. Hey, so if the subject matter of the video you just listened to is of interest and you want more on it, stay tuned. Here's another one about the same topic, but a little bit different. Bye now. Onset date. It also requested that he might need a representative payee. And this probably has to do with the fact that we pointed out to them that while, he's not a mentally ill person, but there is mental limitations that a lot of us have when we're in chronic pain. As we get older, our focus is a little worse. Our concentration might not be able to be as long. And a person who did a high-skilled job, that might actually be necessary to prove you can't do a high-skilled job at a more sedentary level, so that you can actually prevail. So acknowledging the decline in focus and concentration, maybe getting distracted easily, it's very different from a different case where the person had an ALJ hearing and the SSA realized, probably the judge indicated it in his decision, that the person might very well need an RP. Now that person, the whole case was largely a mental health case. It was a younger person, well under 50, and I could see the field office wanting to check that out. I could definitely see it, particularly when there was some homeless components to that. So what happened with both is they have to go in. Now the letter talked about this in the first one I was talking about, going in with whoever would be the RP, which would be the spouse. But we had a discussion this morning, and he can go in and present himself as the very fit person he is. It's one thing to be able to not be mentally fit enough to be the president of the United States. It doesn't mean you can't pay your bills, right? Most of us would not be able to be the president of the United States. We just don't have it, have the capacity, even if we're not old. But doesn't mean we can't run our own lives, from a cognitive point of view. So, and it's not like he has a history, like there's some, he doesn't have a mental disorder of the type that would be like, oh my God, you can't give him cash, he'll just go blow it in the casino, or he'll spend the mortgage on shopping at Walmart, none of that. So I think he has a good chance of going in with what would be his RP, which would be the spouse, but saying, I don't need one. We pay our bills. You know, we have it all set up. It's no, I never not pay a bill. You know, I can't run the country or my old company, but I can certainly pay my electric bill and stuff like that. So, and there's no evidence of spendthrift business. So I think that could work out well for him to not have the wife be the RP. But if he does, he's in a fortunate position to have a super duper partner in life, been married forever, and it'll all be fine either way. But nobody really wants to have an RP. The prior person, I told you, that was significantly mentally ill, went in and they wanted to see if they thought he was mentally fit to handle his own, you know, finances, like the money they're going to send him. And they found he was. So that was actually pretty cool. I thought that could really go the other way. So it is interesting, though, that field office staff is making the decision. I suppose that's for expedition's sake, you know. And I always tell people too, if that comes to be, you can try to still, you know, acting rationally, to say, you know, I'll get a letter from my doctor because I'm fully capable of doing this. That this is a mistake, and then get a letter from your doctor that says he's fully capable of taking care of his finances. He's been doing it thus far, and I've seen nothing in the office that suggests he can't. You know, there's such a big difference between running a company, being a high-end executive, or any kind of high-skilled job, physical or sedentary, and then not being able to pay your basic bills. There are plenty of people who can't pay their basic bills for a variety of reasons that we've kind of touched on, but that is generally not the case. So I was kind of surprised at this latter guy, but anyway, it helped him get the win, and I do believe the RP business will be settled positively. I don't see why it shouldn't. Very, 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 very sharp guy. Anyway, that's a little addition, just a little tag on as to what this recon was about. Like, oh, the non-medical is, do you need an RP? It wasn't about, hey, we need your workers' comp information. That's a whole nother video. I think I have a couple out, but that can be a nightmare. Anyway, thought I'd get that share out there for you guys, and I will talk to you later. It was a good day, though, on that front. Bye now.